Can you hear me now? Okay. I was trying to avoid the microphone because that's fine for when I have a lot of people here. But there's only one person in class, and I figured I could do it with a microphone. But I guess the system is set up that now I need the microphone. So here's a microphone. And I was hoping to do without. But anyway, here I am. Okay. So it's making a lot of noise. Touch it. Okay, there you go. So hi everyone. How are you doing? Let me head over to the chat. I see that Mike wrote in the chat. Let's write in there too and say hello there. There we go. And so how did it go, Paula, this time that you have your own Photoshop? Is it much better?
Yes, but I didn't have
can't hear
time to do
Uh-oh.
any of the assignments.
Did some of you guys speak? And let's see if I messed that up. Are you guys saying something? Oh, hold on.
Hello.
Okay, can you guys say something now?
Hello.
Okay, hold on. Nod if you can hear me. Say yes if you can hear me. Okay. Let me see if I have to change how I hear you. Okay, can you say something now, somebody?
Something.
Okay, now I can hear you. Yeah, I had switched when I was trying to get the different audio. I had switched the settings and I was hearing you through the wrong thing. Okay, now we can all hear each other. Hi, Rebecca. Hi, Tatiana. Hi, Eric. Hi, Shamuel. Hi, Paula. Hi, Mike. And hi, Sue, who you can't see today because I disconnected the second camera, but Sue is sitting here on her lonesome. Oh, but it's okay. Not really lonesome because I'm here too. It's two of us. All right, so sorry, Paula, I had asked you something and then I couldn't hear your answer and then we went into the speaker sound thing. So
No,
it
was much better to work with like the app. I just didn't have time to do any of the assignments or practice last class, but I'll catch up on the weekend.
That's okay, but as long as it works, and many
It
times
works,
between Monday
yes.
and Wednesday, it's hard to get anything done depending on
Yeah.
your schedule and your life. But some of you did get something done. So I'm going to share my screen now and show a couple of people who shared some work. Here we go. And I'm going to put the link in the chat so everyone can go there. So I lost my chat when I shared. Here it is. And there's the chat. There's a chat. There's the link in the chat. Hi, Gretchen. All right. So now I'm sharing the Padlet, and I saw two things here, and I just saw Tatiana's wasn't here when I checked a few minutes ago, so I'm going to get into that right now. But here's Rebecca, who put in this image where can you tell that it's like shot maybe through a car window or a bus window or something? You see the reflection here in the screen. So in the Friday class, I had taught a feature that Camera Raw has in the remove that I didn't use in this class, but you guys can go to the same remove that we've been using. And one option it has is remove reflections. So she applied it to this image and here's the result. No reflections. But what I really like, guys, isn't that there's no reflections. There's a huge reflection. Look at the lake. But the interesting thing is that the computer got that it was the car reflections or the whatever, the glass reflections and not the lake, because otherwise this is one whole reflection, right? But it didn't affect it. So that's what I thought was funny. I don't know if you even thought about that, Rebecca, but this is a whole light reflection and it really only worked on that extra reflection. So that's pretty cool.
Well, I don't know how it does it, but it says it does plate glass. So it must recognize
yeah,
a pat.
So by the way, here's the tools. It's in the camera raw tools. Remove that when it opens it, then down here under distraction removal, she has a choice for reflections, people, and dust. And this is the reflections one. And you just
It was so quick.
no, a good question that Sue has. Is dust the same as haze? No, dust is when you have like, maybe you had a dirty lens in your camera and you had little spots in the sky or something that's completely, it's specifically that kind of dust. It's the kind where you have a dirty lens or a dirty mirror in your camera and it just creates little spots that are considered dust, but it's not necessarily dirty stuff in an image or anything like that, or haze or anything like that. It's specific to that. So sorry, you were saying something else, Rebecca? I think I spoke over you.
Well, I just don't know how it does it. It wouldn't do it on my sunglasses because that's not a
So
flat.
here's the one.
Yeah.
So here's the reflection.
Yeah.
Okay. And then here's the, and here's the, no, sorry. Here's the reflection and here's the fix. But actually, I still see a little bit over here.
Mhm.
If you really pay attention to this city, you'll see there's nothing like that here over there. And then over
Mhm.
here, there's that little bit and that little bit. So if you know where to look, there's still a couple of, is it to the left? No, it's to the right. Hold on there. So that thing that was
Oh, that's the
there
dark ones there.
is
Yeah.
still there. And I'm seeing that and a bit of that, like a couple of those things that are, when they're so white that there's nothing behind it. See that? So
Uh-huh.
this has something behind it, so it can reinvent it. All that has something behind it, it can reinvent it. But this gets so white that at the very tip of it, there's just, it doesn't know what should be under that. See that? Same with this. And then when you go to, and I have to find it. When you go over here, those are the bits that are left. That stuff that's so white, and so white that it doesn't know what to do with it. You can tell? And in
Mhm.
fact, over here, this was probably part of the reflection too. Let's go back. Yeah, see that? That's probably part of the reflection. But since that was there and if it's there, it could be a sunspot, who knows? So it's not perfect, you guys, but whenever you can see through it enough to have an idea of what's there, then it works. Now you're saying that over here, you
It
couldn't
wouldn't.
get it to handle this reflection.
No.
And I'm thinking that there's not enough information here for the computer to even know that these are glasses and this could be glass. You know what I'm trying to say? Because after all, it's an automatic process and it needs to understand maybe that this is a reflection. Like it's hard for even us who know the image to really like think about the entire image, right? It's mainly creek, it's mainly water, and then there's a hat, and then this is just peeking in at the bottom. So it's a very unimportant part of the image, right? And so the computer's
Mhm.
probably looking at the entire image first. I'm just guessing because I don't, my brain doesn't think AI. It's just what I'm thinking is that it could be that it can't figure that one out.
Well, at the website, it said that it's removes reflections caused by plate glass surfaces from photos.
So not from eyeglasses, although I have seen it used on eyeglasses. I thought it had
If
worked.
they were a major part of the photo,
I think so, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it isn't for glasses. How about everyone on a pair of glasses with reflections that looks like glasses with reflections? Give it a try. You know, if they're a main part of the image, but like a portrait, or it doesn't need to be a close-up of photos. In fact, a close-up might not help. In fact, it's more like if you could see a bigger image. I'm trying to think where we first did this assignment in the Photoshop, the first Photoshop. And this is for people who didn't do the Friday class. Let me just show you this because it was pretty cool. Where was it? Over here. So this is the full reflection on an image, but as you can see, it's there, but you can see behind inside of that reflection. This is actually a close-up, so it's not pretty. There's more reflections down at the bottom. And then do I have one of the full window reflections? No. And then when we made a correction, so here's one of the persons. So all of that reflection that was up there is gone. And it only left this little bit that was a bit harder because it was just white and I didn't know what to put behind it. But the rest of this was all one big reflection, and now it's gone. Let me see. Do we have any other big of the reflection? No, we don't have any other big version of the reflection. So everyone has posted their corrections, right? Which is all it left is that little bit. But the original is only a little tiny bit of that shot, which is, but anyway, the whole upper part and bottom here, and even this was a reflect, like the whole thing was a bit hazy because the whole thing was one big reflection, okay? Not just this big part. But as you can see, there's a piece here. So the whole thing all the way down had a reflection, and it got rid of most of it. All right, see, it's just pretty much gone everywhere. You see through this really well, and then it just left that little bit. But that is definitely plate glass, okay? So I didn't try it on, I didn't try it
Curved
on,
surface,
on
yeah.
eyeglasses. So somebody try it and let me know. You tried it here, but I'm not sure if it's that valid because it's such a partial thing.
Mhm.
Maybe it won't work on any glasses, or they wouldn't say the word plate glass, right? So anyway, thanks for pointing that out and for doing that that test. And then over here, I also have oh, Rebecca as well. But you had just posted something, Tatiana, and it's now gone. That's what I'm looking for.
I just removed it because it wasn't a very good.
Oh,
Oh.
but good or not good, please don't ever.
She loves when it's
Successes
not
and
good.
failures are all welcome.
Because
And
there was no camera raw filter and I couldn't put it, it's not work. I
okay,
don't know why.
so you know what a failure means? Something that didn't work. Now, why do I mean that? Because it's good to post something that doesn't work.
Okay, I will post.
And then
Okay.
I can maybe figure out why it didn't work and help you to make it work. And sometimes I won't know why it didn't work either. It depends. Ideally, if you show me the layers or the stuff around it, I might be able to tell you. But otherwise, it's hard for me to help. So anyway, here's another one that Rebecca put. We don't have the before, but she does say that she did a dehaze in camera, and there's a tool called dehaze that in this case, she found it, we have it in Photoshop and in Camera Raw. So she used the Camera Raw version of the dehaze. And this, you said this was a very foggy day. I don't see any fog, do you? So that looks really good to me. I'll show you guys later when we get to Camera Raw where that feature is, but basically it's one of those raw, it's inside of Camera Raw that she used as a filter. So you can use Camera Raw before you're in Photoshop or in Photoshop. When you're in Photoshop, we've used it a few times this way. And today we're also going to spend some time in Camera Raw before we get into Photoshop, directly from Bridge, okay? But yeah, I don't see any fog, so it looks like whatever happened was really good. Oh, and then here's Tatiana. And then just tell me, what were you trying to do that you say didn't work? Because this is just a color fill that you did and the solid color that we did the other day. But what I'm seeing in the mask right here is that this was filled not with white, but with gray, which maybe it's on purpose, but being with gray, it would only go halfway, like it would transparent halfway. So yeah, tell me what did or didn't work, and let's see how we can help you fix it. What were you trying to do?
I tried to go to filter and try to there is a convert to smart filter and then camera raw filter, but it doesn't active.
So this isn't camera raw, this isn't a camera raw or a smart filter. This is just an adjustment layer. So if you tried to do a camera raw, I don't see it here at least. It got deleted because right here, this is just an adjustment layer.
Oh yeah, okay, it wasn't a correct layer, so I see it's active now.
Now this could have worked. This isn't
Yeah.
necessarily something that wouldn't have worked. In fact, I think I told you guys, give it a try. Go ahead and color the clothes, right? And thank you, Tatiana, for trying.
Okay.
And don't feel bad that it didn't work, please. I'm like, thank you for putting it up there again. Bravo. And everyone, I want you guys to put in what didn't work. In fact, because then I can show you something. In this case, she's like, oh, well, that isn't camera. Okay. But even then, one thing I want you to notice is that this here that's happening is muted. It's halfway. It's like half opacity. It's neither here nor there. And why? Because if you look at the mask, this isn't black or white. This is white, black, or gray. Can you tell? So whatever effect you were trying to apply is only applying halfway. So it's making just things just kind of muddy versus colorful. Does that make sense? And in this case, of course, it's happening to a square area, and like her hands are also going the same pink. So we would probably have to isolate the clothes themselves and stuff like that. But most importantly, it's that you won't be able to give it a full color without having it be white or black. So let's go into Photoshop, let's go into Bridge, and we're gonna, but let me just actually, hold on, let me go back in here. In the examples that we did the other day where we changed color, and let me see, here's one that I have with color. The color fill, see what I mean about the mask being white or black versus gray? Now, I did teach you guys somewhere about a gray mask. Where would that be? Did I do it in this class or was it on the Friday class? What's that? Okay, I didn't show it to you guys here, the putting in black or gray or 50% opacity. I thought I showed it here. People who are only in this class, I didn't. Yeah, here in this, wasn't it here in the sky? Yeah, hold on. I think I'm remembering it was in here in the sky where it was the day that I couldn't do shortcuts. But anyway, here we go. I'm looking at Moni's and see how she painted with some gray, some white, and she just put more or less intensity into something. So this is the mask that made the pink, that made the pink part of the sky, or is it this one? This is the pink, that's the blue, because you can see blue up there. This is the one that makes the sky pink. And you can see that in parts where it's whiter, more white, not whiter as in whiter, skinny, but whiter, there's more pink coming through, and where it's less pink, white, or more like gray, it's less of it, and then slowly less and less until there's barely any pink in there. If that makes sense? So the grayer, the less of that effect that comes through, versus the whiter, the more white, more of that effect comes through. Okay? So see here, it's talking about 25% opacity, gives you that effect of gray, and that's a bit what was happening in this image, that it's all been made gray right there. So the only thing is either your brush was set at 50% or your color was set at 50%. So let's talk about that, because you guys barely even remembered I had taught you that. So let's work on that, okay? This is a very important concept, and it's not, we're not gonna spend the whole day on this, but I just wanna reinforce that concept. So see how Tatiana putting something that doesn't work is really good, because it helps all of us learn something, or me to notice that there's something that I need to teach a bit better. So just relatively quickly, let's open that same one so that I can show you on that same example, which is the bottom one. Now, I just noticed something because of Sue here, that she was not saying the names of the files. And in case you guys are not seeing the names of the files, we had to go search and see how come. She had down here, she had thumbnails only turned on, which means it shows you only the thumbnails. And whenever I'm telling you open, vintage, whatever, I'm reading you the file name. So in case you guys are seeing it this way, then you had to uncheck the thumbnails only, and then you'll see the file names. And then we can tell if it's a JPEG or a DNG or whatever it is. Just in case one of you guys had it in that mode as well. I thought I'd mention that. So let's open really quickly the vintage black and white, and we're gonna just work on this for just a bit. First of all, we want to get a bit bigger, so go ahead and do Command plus so that we are filling the screen a little bit more. Okay, and then let's say that we're trying to do is to paint this the girl's dress, for example, or the guy's shirt. It doesn't matter. Now, remember, there's two ways to do this, and I would like someone to tell me what would be the two ways that I could start off with this, and maybe someone who hasn't taken the class before. So I'd love to see if maybe Eric or Gretchen or Tatiana or Paula could maybe tell me just, and Shamuel, you took the one on Friday. but I didn't talk so much about masking and stuff, Shamal, so maybe you can answer too. There's two things, I'm gonna basically add an adjustment layer to this, and there's two ways to proceed. I can do something first or something later. What is it that I'm talking about?
A solid color?
The adjustment layer is gonna be called solid color, yeah. So that's the adjustment layer I'm gonna use, but I can do something now or later. What do you guys think I'm talking about? If I want to paint just the shirt or the dress or the bow on her head, if I wanna paint a very, not the whole thing, but a part of something.
You're talking about making a mask?
Ah,
Selected.
yes, but
selected
Barbara,
one?
you just joined us and you didn't hear me say, I only want people who haven't taken this class before to
I'm
answer.
sorry. I'm
That's
sorry.
okay. No, don't apologize, but
I'm still sick. I keep falling
no
asleep.
problem. It's fine. You just joined right after I had said that. No biggie. But the whole point is, that isn't really the answer anyway, although she's guiding you towards that, because yes, we have to make a mask. So to make that mask, there's two ways to do it. So that was a good clue, but it isn't the answer. So,
You would select it.
okay. I could either select it first or paint it in later. Okay, so yes, that's the two possible ways. Okay, so good job, Gretchen. I could select the dress or the shoes or the shirt, whatever part I'm trying to change first, then make my solid color. Or I could just start by making my solid color and then paint with a brush over the areas that need to be changed. Does that make sense? Creating thus my mask. So Barbara was right, we create a mask, and Gretchen was right. Ideally, it's better to start with a selection, but if it's a hazy thing like the clouds, well, I can just paint it in. But if it's a very specific thing like the dress or the shirt, it's probably better to select it first. And then you can adjust or make the selection better. It'd be hard to make a brush go really nicely into all these little thingies, you know what I mean? So let's start by making, thank you everyone who answered, and those of you who were thinking that maybe their answer is wrong next time, just shout it out, because it's not about being right or wrong. It's about not letting me always tell you everything, because if I tell you everything, you do it right, and then as long as the class is over, you forget. Okay, so I want you guys to think, well, I'm at home, I want to change the color of this thing. What should I do without Deanna here to tell me? And that's basically what I'm trying to make you think. And if you don't know, you don't know, that's fine. But if you do, just shout it out. Might be right, might be wrong. That's the way to go. All right, so we're going to select one of these things first. I think that let's try, I don't know, let's try his shirt. It has a little bit more gray, so it might be a little bit easier. The whiter it is, the whiter, more white, not whiter. The whiter it is, the harder to change a color, right? Because there's less color to change. He has a bit more grays in there. Let's just try that. So again, of the many ways to select stuff, I am going to show you a different way, because each time I'm trying to change you a different one. So let's click on the second, like 1, 2, 3, fourth tool down. And this time I'm going to do one that I haven't used yet with you guys. I'm going to do object selection. And we did this, I believe, in the Friday class. Let's go ahead and we certainly did not do it here in this class yet. So let's do object selection. Now, if you have the default settings, which if you do, then you notice that when I first came into the tool, the computer was like thinking for a little bit. Let me just see if it does it again. Maybe it already thought it through, but when I click the tool, it already did it, so I won't do it again, but it had this little thing that was thinking. Now look what happens with my mouse. When I hover over the tool, I'm not doing anything but hovering, but the computer is discovering different objects by painting them in pink. You see that? It's kind of giving me a pink mask. And remember that last week when we used this other tool, the selection brush tool, when we started selecting, it painted it pink. Okay, so I'm gonna undo. So remember, it isn't pink that it's painting, it's just the color that the computer uses to create a mask. So under the object selection tool, when I hover over, the fact that it's painting is pink, it's just making a selection of all the background or of the bow in her hair, or of her dress. Now, is it perfect? No. See how it's missing a little tiny bit there? Or of her shoe. But here it's not capturing just the shoes. It's just getting all her legs, when in reality, there's stocking and shoes. But that's too much for the computer. It's like, okay, this is all one thing. His shirt, notice that his hand has been caught within the choice of shirt and also his tie. So again, and it's missing a piece of his neck. So it's not perfect, but, and here's his hair and face, and you're like, face, but it's leaving his nose out. Well, because there's other parts and features. So this is a pretty cool tool. Now, is your tool working that way? Give me a yes. It's possible that your tool isn't working that way, and it depends on what's turned on in here. So is it working that way? That when you hover, it's pre-selecting different parts and pieces? Not for you, Rebecca?
Not for me either.
It
for you?
picks it
Okay.
out, but I've got a big outline on it.
All right, so here's the thing. In this object selection tool, first of all,
Mhm.
make sure over here that you're in just this first choice, which shouldn't have changed, but since it isn't working, I'm just showing you the
Yeah.
tools. And then if it's still not working, I'll ask you to share your screen. First one there. Then over here, for me, it says select people now, but only after it read it. It might be that it's not saying that for you. And what you want to have turned on are these two guys. So if this is turned off, so that it gets black, it's turned off. See how the whole thing is going pink? So
Mhm.
it's not finding parts. So this one has to be without a black box around it. And then this here, if you click on it, it will read it again. So now it's doing a new reading of the whole thing. Is that at all?
No,
No changes. Okay, the next thing would be click on this thing, this little icon there, and
Mhm.
turn on the object finder. You might have the object finder turned off. So turn on the object finder. I also have object subtract and find people details. So match your thing to that.
I do.
And
I might have an outline at 1.5 pixels and you have no outline.
no outline. Okay, so turn off the
That's
outline.
it. That's
Okay.
the difference.
How about you, Gretchen? Does this help?
Yeah, mine was the same as Rebecca's for some reason. So it was like doing all
Okay.
of the boy. I couldn't get just the shirt, but I took the 1.5 off, so now I can do it.
So now it's working
Yes.
like that. Okay. Is that it? Everyone else, for everyone else is working this way? Barbara, you didn't mention anything. Is your tool working this way? I can't hear you. You're muted. Oh,
I'm looking for the photograph to bring it up.
oh, okay. Cool. Hi, Colette. Thanks for joining us. All right. So just really quickly, in answer to a question posted in Padlet, I'm pulling up this photo again. We're doing something different with it. But also I'm going back to the object finder tool, which I know we covered a bit when you were in the Friday class, but I'm gonna show something a little bit different. But since I wanna show it whilst learning, teaching new things, I'm also reviewing the object finder, the object selection tool for a second. So I'll let you guys catch up when you're caught up. Both Barbara and Colette, let me know. So if you need any help. Okay, so now that we're all in this mode of being able to sub-select, so to say, now let's say that I want his shirt. So now I hover over this area. Instead of just hovering, I'm gonna just now click. And when I click, now it made a selection of his shirt, okay? Now, the way selections work, you can only select one thing at a time. So if I now go and say, well, instead of his shirt, I want the dress, the girl's dress, and I now click, the selection went over to the girl's dress and left his shirt. Does that make sense? Say that I wanted her bow, I'm gonna click on her bow, and now the only thing selected is her bow, okay? Now it's not impossible to get more than one thing. What if I wanted all three things? Then what I need to do is hold down the Shift key, keep it held down, and now hover over the dress and click. So now I've got both bow and dress, and now hold it over the shirt and click, and now I've got all three things. Does that make sense? So hitting the Shift key gives you all three things. As I said, it's not perfect. His hand is still included in there. His shirt necktie isn't included in there. But if you notice, if I hover over his little neck piece right there, it did isolate it from the rest. So I could hold the shift key and click on that little tiny bit of his neck and include it. And now his neck has been included. Problem is it includes some neck. Let me just zoom in again. So it kind of included a bit of the shirt, but it also included some hair or some other stuff right there. So remember, when you don't want something to be in a selection, when you want something else to be added to selection, you hold down the shift key. When you don't want something in the selection, you hold down, what's the key that I always tell you is the negative of, instead of the positive is the shift and the negative is? Say that again.
Option.
It turns into a minus, but the key you press, yes, correct, is the option for the Mac, Alt for the PC. It gives me a minus. Okay, so Sue was saying minus, but to get that minus, you have to hold down the Alt or Option key. Now that it's in minus mode, then I'm going to try to just get rid of this little bit. But guess what? In this mode, it's in find object mode. So if I try to click on that again to just get rid of this little bit, it's going to take away everything that's painted pink. So it took the whole thing away. So see how you're kind of reduced to just what this objects it's finding. Does that make sense? So if you want to get that, we're going to have to do that later, correct it in the mask or go to another tool. Okay? So that's the good and the bad of this tool. It finds amazing stuff. Like if I try to get rid of his hand here, it's not going to work as much as this didn't work. So let's include the neck again because most of it is correct. Whoops. Uh-oh. I made a baddie. What did I just do? Just stop. Don't do anything. Why do I only have the shirt there? What was the mistake I just made?
Did you not hold shift?
I didn't hold shift down, but guess what? No panic. If I keep clicking around, I'm going to have to do it all over again. If I just do Command Z, phew, I undid that last one. Now I'm going to hold the shift key and now I'm going to click on his neck. And so now I've included his neck again. Does that make sense? I'm sorry. So that's kind of how you want to, don't forget then to click, oops, I clicked one more time and got his head and I don't want that. So how do I do? No panic, I do Command Z. Okay, so just keep an eye on things. The moment something goes wrong, just Command Z. It's always easier to undo than to fix. Sorry, Command Z for the Mac. For PC users, it's always Control Z. All right, so let's get rid of all of this. How do we deselect everything? What's the shortcut if someone remembers it? It's in the handouts.
Command D.
Command D. But if you don't remember shortcuts, you can go down here to deselect, or you can go all the way up to select, deselect. But anyway, the easiest one is to see the deselect or just Command or Control D to deselect. Okay, so let's just grab the guy's shirt now. Click. And with only that selected, and it has a lot of things to be fixed, okay? Because his hand's there and the neck's missing, but let's just start with that only. And now we're going to go, and I'm going to explain again because Colette and Barbara weren't here. Tatiana was giving an example that didn't work for her. And I mentioned that over here in the adjustment layer mask, I noticed that it's gray, black and gray, not black and white. Okay. So I made that comment and we talked a bit about it. So now I wanted to explain again the importance. And then I asked everyone about black and gray and opacity, and I got very few answers. So I just wanted to review that a little bit because it's an important concept. So that's why I'm using this one again. So here we go. We got the shirt selected. Does everyone have the shirt? Click on that now. If it still looks pink, you haven't clicked. Click on it one time. There we go. So now we have the first selection, which was Gretchen said we had to do to make a max, which is what Barbara said. Great, you guys, we're adding up. Now, let's add that adjustment layer. How do I add that color fill adjustment layer? Where do I go for that? How do I add a solid color adjustment layer?
In the like the moon with half black.
I like that, the moon, the half colored moon. Down here, you click on that little guy, and here we go to solid color. And let's pick a color, any color. I don't know, I'm going to give him a light blue shirt or something. And again, the color I choose won't be the color it'll end up. It'll be about what I want, and then I'll have to come back and edit the color once I can see, because right now it is giving me a solid color, which is the whole point. We put in a solid color adjustment layer. So it's a solid color. So until I do what, will I not be able to see how it looks on the shirt? What do I need to do next?
Invert. Why?
Overlay?
Not inverse yet.
Overlay?
Overlay. Okay, so I'm not sure if I'm going to choose overlay, but what Eric's saying is right. We're talking about blending modes. And where do I find the blending modes?
Or right where it says normal.
Exactly. Right above this adjustment layer where it says normal, this is a whole list of different blending modes. And Eric was mentioning overlay, which is one of them, and it's the one we used the other day. Okay, so he's mentioning overlay. Now, we don't know until we play around which one might work better or less well. It might be overlay, it might not. Got to kind of try them out. There's rules, and sometimes when I have time to do just a masterclass on blending modes, there's things you can do to really figure out which one is best. But in this case, you might not be able to choose. I'm going to go with the one called color, way at the bottom. Way at the bottom. I'm going to go with color for this one. I don't know why. You guys choose the one you like best, because depending on the color you chose, you might like one more than the other. But remember, we might change the color now of that choice. So I'm going to go with color. So I gave it a color blending mode. And I just want to remind you that we're looking at this really, like I'm at 240, so I'm seeing it very pixelated. If I were to go to 100% Command 1, that would look better than it does when I'm so zoomed in, right? Because right now, very zoomed in, you're seeing all these pixels and all this weirdness, and that's all that pixelated stuff and all those things are the JPEG artifacts, right? So don't look so much at the quality of it. Rather, look at this and then go, okay, I got a blending mode I like. I got a color. It's too bright. It's too whatever. Let's change the color. Now that we've set it up, let's change the color. First of all, notice that I've got white or black, not gray. Okay. So if I were to make that gray, that same fill gray, you guys don't need to do that, but I'm going to do that. Give me a second. Let me just show you really quickly what might be happening here. I'm going to just fill that with gray. Whoops. And I'm going to see just the mask for a minute. And I'm just going to go with gray for a second. And fill that with gray. Don't ask me how or why. I'm just showing you that I filled it with gray. And when I go back, the effect is half as powerful as it was before. And I'm just pointing that out only because if you were trying to look for a powerful color, in this case, no matter what she did, if she wanted a powerful color, by having gray in the mask, you can't get it pure. It's as if you were making it be half the percentage. That said, back to Photoshop. I'm going to undo that because I don't want to fill it with gray, and back to black and white. And now I'm going to go ahead and change the color a bit. First of all, I don't like seeing that double click again here to pick up the colors again. And now let's play around to see if I find a color that I think might work better for that. And so as I move around here, see how the color is changing there? So maybe I want it to be more or less intense. I think that might look a bit more like a light blue shirt. So what I'm saying is no matter what color you chose to start with, right? Once you've set up the settings, now you come back and you find a color that works, right? If you want to have a green shirt or a yellow shirt or whatever. So if I go back to my blues, I find a better blue, right? So you're not stuck with the color you chose to start with. So now I have a very light blue, which I think maybe this is like a first communion or something like that. I don't know, maybe some celebration. I think maybe a light blue shirt might be a better choice. Again, remember that we're very big zoomed in. But in order to get that light blue, look at the tone of blue I had to choose. It's a very, very dark blue. You see that? that's the choice I'm making right there. And yet it gives me that. So that's why
Is
there's,
that because the sepia or the photo is sepia?
it's got to do with the blending mode I chose. If you have chose a different blending mode, you might be on a really bright color to get that same example, right? So say that I chose a blending mode of hard light, then that blending, that dark blue gives me that. Does that make sense? In which case, if hard light is what I chose, then I better go and choose a lighter tone to get some similar-ish light blue. Does that make sense? So really it's about how things blend, how they connect, and now I've got a light blue in hard light mode, and then that's what I get. Okay?
Do I need to select a blender
If you don't
style?
select the blending mode, if you're in normal,
Uh-huh.
then it's a solid color. A solid color doesn't show me the shape underneath. And yeah, that doesn't work. That's a flat splotch. Like I cut out a piece of paper of that color. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Blending mode is what blends this into that.
Okay.
Okay, so right above the color. Oh, you first need to add a color, a solid color. Let me catch. So up here, Mary, so go all the way up to where you were was fine. Go back there. The circle one, yep. Yep. And solid color. Cool. And then choose a color. As we said right now, it doesn't really matter what color. Choose a color by clicking somewhere up there. And then say, okay, cool. And it's solid. So now right above the color where it says normal, those are the blending modes. So now we're going to go and choose a blending mode from there that helps you with that pinkish color shirt that you made. All right, so let me go back up to that and choose, this time I'll choose, I don't know, a different blending mode. I don't remember which ones I had gone for. I think I had gone to hard light, I don't know. Some of them are better than others. Oh, here it was in color. And then I had double clicked again to see if it was the right color. And I think that's just kind of had decided that. Okay, so then with this mask, I can now use what tool to get rid of the pink hand and to add the neck. And maybe we can leave the tie being a darker blue because we don't have another color for it right now. So, but I want to get rid of the hand. It shouldn't be blue, and I want to add pink there. So what tool do I need to use to do that?
A brush, but you still look like you're in gray.
Right now I'm seeing a blue. Maybe it's how my computer's projecting.
No, on the brush choices.
Okay,
Instead
so
of
there
black
you
and
go.
white.
So I need to choose a brush, and what Rebecca's noticing is that I don't have black and white over here, but let me first choose a brush as if I hadn't noticed. So the B for brush. What if I hadn't checked if I have black and white? What if I hadn't checked? Then when I go paint right now, I would be painting, and let me make this smaller. I would be painting with half the color. So when I try to paint it, should I paint white or black onto this hand? So I
Black.
want it. Yeah, so if you look over here, if you don't know what to answer, which you guys answered correctly, is the stuff that's not going blue is black. So if I want the hand to not go blue, I should paint black. You kind of think of it that way. Just look over here and go, okay, which one? So if I choose black, and if I didn't pay attention to the fact that I don't have black, if I were to paint now over here, it's working, but it's, and let me show you my mask. What I painted was gray. So it's still showing through some blue. I'm going to undo that. I'm going to show you now again. If I do want that to be black, I have to click on that little thing above the colors. And when I click on that one time, it brought my colors back to pure black and pure white. Okay, so now I switch to black because I use my X key. Remember X down there is giving me black or white, X. I stop right there. And now I paint over this hand to make sure that his hand doesn't get changed into blue. Okay, so not that it's going any color, black and white. And then over here, I need to paint white. So now I put the button on white, and then I paint in his the brush on white, and then I paint in his necktie, neck collar. And if I were to try to eliminate the tie from the blue, I would have to go back to black and then just paint over the tie. Might be a little bit harder to do that, given that we have another little strip of blue over there, but you could kind of do that anyway. I'm gonna not do it, I'm gonna leave it. It's such a low res image that the more I approach, the harder it seems to do this correctly, because there's very, very little leeway. I think that's it for the tie. That piece there was short, not tie. Painted anyway. I think that's it for tie. And I
have
opened
a
this one
question.
only because it's the one that you had used for your example, but I wish I'd chosen one that had better better color, better quality, so that you would say over here, it looks like this is also his hand. I think is,
Diana, I have a question.
yep, go for it.
So,
Now when I go down,
so first I painted with like a darker pink, and then I switched to a lighter pink. But now, let's say I want to go back to the darker pink. I don't have that color anymore, and I don't see it on the recent. So,
okay, so when you go, well, you
So-
wouldn't see recents. Recents would be the adjustment layer over here. It's not about recents, it's just about choosing it again, sliding your mouse around. So you would have to double click right here.
but I
Now-
don't remember the color because I chose
Yeah.
color.
Yeah, once you change color, there isn't any way to remember. You have to
There's
get,
not a way to click on the image and see the color.
not if you left that color. Plus, if I try to pick the color, guys, so let me just show you. If I were to
From
want to,
no, I mean from the image that I have, the image still has the dark pink. I cannot.
okay, so good point. Let me show you what's happening and why the answer is still no. So she wants to pick up, say that this is the dark pink that she wants to pick up. To pick up a color, I haven't explained this to you yet, but if I were to want to pick up this color, I would have to use the eyedropper, and the eyedropper tool right there, or the letter I, gives me an eyedropper. If I were to click over here to sample that color, it gives me that color. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
But that's not the color that I'm going to have to put in here. Look at the color I had to use in order to get that color. So even if I get that color there, it's not the color you're going to get to choose over here. Does that make sense? Because
Yeah.
this one's been blended in a way that gives me that color. If I were to choose right now that color, which I am from here, I pick it. So I got that color. When I say okay, well, surprisingly enough, this time it did give me that color, but it depends on the blend mode, and it had you had high color, light color, it might have not worked, but here I'm showing you, see how it doesn't work, and then it worked. But it's interesting that these two colors gave me that same effect. Does that make sense? Depending on the blending mode, if I had a soft light or a hard light in there, and I had tried to then change it to that color, then it's giving me a washed out, right? So that's why no, you can't really pick up a color for this tool. For other tools, you can. So yeah. Okay. So now, there you go. I'm not going to keep painting on this one. If anything, if you're going to do anything with this one, I would rather work on one that's have better quality, because this is 100% for this image right there. And so with something that size, you know, no matter what, the moment we try to make it big, it just starts looking bad. But anyway, we would use the white and the black, and we would have to have a mask, which is plan B. If I wanted to give the same color to her bow, for example, and I hadn't pre-selected it, I could go over here now with a brush, And then with my mask selected, I could start painting it into the brush, right? So yes, some things like I could, this bow, this isn't so hard to select, but it's A, because it's kind of this amorphous little shape. It doesn't have too many jaggedy things. And B, it's because it's such low quality. If this were really high quality, just trying to use a brush wouldn't be enough. We wouldn't really be able to get the edges very well. You know what I mean? So we're kind of living with the fact that it's such a bad quality that we're getting away with it, but we wouldn't normally get away with just painting in something like that. The edges wouldn't be very appropriate. But right now, go back to 100%. Yeah, her bow is the same color as her brother's shirt. Got that? But if I do it on the same mask, it can only be the exact same color. If I want it to be pink, I would have to use a different mask and then paint her hair thing and her shirt. Right now, the only color this mask can bring out is that blue on white, by the way, because on something else, it'll give me another solution. Say that I'm painting that on this color, then that's what comes out, right? Just that on white, that's how it looks. But on another color, his pants would look dark teal, etc., etc. Okay. All right. If there's no questions, let's save this and move on to something else. But if you do have a question, good time to ask. So I'm going to go ahead and say Command S for save. Let's call this one solid color adjustment layer and save it. So did you get some color there, Sue? Pale pink, okay. So everyone give me a yes once you're done. Hold on, I see that Tatiana has a question, but give me a second because Sue over here had a question first. Everyone else, when you're ready and you did this, give me a yes.
So I want to paint slab here, right?
On the mask, yep. But you don't have black in your, so switch that. And I prefer switching it with the X key. Yeah, so now I don't have to drag my mouse all the way there and then paint some black in there. You're in a selection brush. Let me undo that. You have to be in the paintbrush.
Oh, the paint, okay.
So the B for paintbrush. There we go. And now you have huge one. And now you can. There's so many brush looking things, you guys, that it's always better if you can learn for the paintbrush to use the B for brush, because so many other brush things show up. And in this case, it was unfortunate. She was painting the guy's shirt pink. So she chose this selection brush. And this selection brush, remember that when you select with it, it paints pink because that's the mask. So in her case, it was confusing because it seemed that it was correct because she was painting pink, but it's because it was the selection brush. So you have to make sure you've got the right brush, which is the paintbrush. Yes, Tatiana, what's your question?
My B brush doesn't work like your.
Why don't you, let me stop my share. Why don't you share your screen? When things don't work like mine, I can't really help until I see what settings might be, what could be the difference. So let's see your screen. Do you remember how to share? It's been a while.
Oh, okay.
Share and then share again 2 times. By the way, meanwhile, can everyone be doing a screenshot and posting it in the Padlet? Let me give you the Padlet link one more time, especially if you came in later. The first post, you guys start the chat the moment you arrive, so you don't have everything I post in it. Okay, let me see. So show me what you mean by your brush doesn't work the same way.
My B brush there.
Here's your brush, okay.
And then
So
I
you have
try
to paint.
to brush
Got
his
it. What color
pen.
is the ink that's coming out of that brush right now?
There is white.
Yeah. And what color
White.
should you be painting?
So I need to choose the color.
You need to paint with white or black. Which one? Look at your mask.
White.
So the shirt area over here in the mask is white. So
Mhm.
anything that's white is becoming blue. If you don't want the hand to be blue, it can't be painted with white. It should be painted with black. Does that make sense how I think it through?
So
If the shirt area here, look at your mask now. If the shirt area, and I'm just talking about the mask. If the shirt area is white, that means that this effect is turning things blue. And the hand is blue and you don't want it to be blue. So that means you probably need to paint with the opposite of white, which is black, right? So now you switched it to black and now you can go in there and paint the hand with black.
it doesn't change,
Yeah,
To
it changed to black and now go in and now.
but nothing.
Well, you have a very tiny mouse. You're at 9 pixels, which is so tiny. So it's probably not making an effect. So you could click on that and give yourself a bigger mouse. And I prefer using the keyboard letters. See now, go and move the mouse. Okay, so your mouse right now, you must have the caps locks turned on. Do you have the caps locks turned on?
Turn on.
Caps lock? No,
Oh,
because
yeah.
the fact that it's turn it off, you need to have a circle.
I
So maybe
don't.
it's still too small, so go back and try to get a bigger one. I don't know. Make it, I don't know, move it over here. I want to just see what's happening to your mouse. Okay, now move your mouse out here for a second to see the size. Yeah, so you must have, the caps lock is that thing that turns your mouse into uppercase or lowercase on your keyboard. That, when you have it turned on, all your tool is an X and then you can't see the size of it. So do you have a keyboard? You first need to go to your keyboard and look for the caps lock key. It's usually above the shift key, something like that.
Caps locks, I turned it off, but what else?
You don't have a caps lock turned on?
No.
Because your mouse is staying, okay, then there, you had it on. See, now you see a circle.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so now go ahead and make it smaller because
Oh.
now we're gonna see the size of that brush. Okay, and then go back. And now let's see if you can get that hand with white. And if it's hard to tell if it's working. Oh, because you have your opacity of your brush set at 12%. So go over here and say the opacity of your brush needs to be at 100%.
100?
Yeah, you had it at 12% from the assignment we did last week. So go ahead and you can just slide that slider over to the right.
Slider.
Click on that and then
I
grab that slider and move
see.
it all the way to the right. Okay, so now your brush is going to paint with black. Before you were painting with very gentle.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
worked. Yeah.
Now it's working. Okay.
But I can see it here.
So if you want that to be blue, it's the opposite. What color it should be painting with?
We need change color here, yeah?
Yeah, so go to the arrow, double click to white. Yeah, perfect. Now go paint that bow and blue will come out. Okay, and obviously you need either a smaller brush or you need to zoom in. But
Okay,
to fix
It
that,
appears. Okay.
you would just have to go back and get black again, right? And
Okay,
paint
yeah.
paint with black over this little area. Okay?
Mhm.
Or usually you would approach, get a bit closer and a smaller mouse.
Mhm.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
cool. All right. Hopefully everyone had time to do a screenshot of that and post it. I haven't yet done that, so let me do my screenshot and then I'll post it. But all right. Now, even if you do a screenshot, that doesn't really teach you all the steps that it took, right? And the steps are the questions that I asked before, the ones that mattered to me. Because when you do this and you go, I want to turn these people's thing another color, you need to remember that first you need to do a mask of the area. And each time I'm teaching you a different tool for selecting, right? This time I told you the option selection tool. So we colored the boy's shirt blue, or I colored it blue first.
Originally, did you use the object selection tool or a selection brush tool?
The selection brush tool, you would have to paint it on yourself and it wouldn't be as accurate. For some things it's great, but for others it's not. In this case, painting and to select the brush, to select the shirt would have been a lesser perfect one. So instead we use the object selection tool. So you just need to know all your tools and see which one works best for the case. In this
What did
case,
you use?
I use the object selection tool.
Object, okay, thank you.
Object selection tool. Oh, you're not seeing my share, but I'm writing this. Here we go. So I was saying selection tool. Then once I created a solid color adjustment layer. There I chose blue. It doesn't matter too much which blue at this point. The result was a lot of blue flat paint plastered on top of the shirt. So I chose a blend mode of color. Which allowed the solid color to blend into the original image. Then I double clicked again on the color to choose a better blue. I then selected the mask to make my selection more perfect by adding black or white paint with my brush tool to the areas I wanted to add or take away from the selection, like the hand and the neck. Was it the collar or the shirt collar? Okay, there might be here and there a typo. I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to upload and publish. Okay. So you guys, here we go. Sounds good. And let's head back to the bridge. And if you don't get a chance to make your selections early on, like to make your, to do your screenshots now, but not to post, then make sure to post them all a bit later. Tatiana, is that hand from now or from before? I think it's your other question from before, right? I'm going to clear your hand, but if you have another
For
question, please
before,
let me know.
no, I have no question. Thank you.
That's fine. I just cleared it up. Okay. Let's go back to bridge. And I want us to briefly use, and then we're going to take a break. This one's going to be brief. To use that tool, the same place where Rebecca deleted the reflections, it's the remove tool. So you would think, let me just show you this, just demo, don't do this. If I were to open this in Camera Raw, really just watch, don't try to do this, because when you open it, if I go to the remove tool, it's reflections, people, and dust, and it's the remove tool, right? But it will look for reflections, people, and dust. And in this case, I'm looking for something called remove wires. It's not here. So I'm going to cancel, because in the same remove tool, but inside of Photoshop, we have the remove wires, but we don't have the remove reflections. So it's kind of weird that they're both the same tool, but depending where you use it, it does have one choice or another. You know what I'm trying to say? So I was just showing you how if you thought the remove tool we've been using up until now will remove wires, it won't. Let's use the one inside of Photoshop. And to do that, we're going to double click on rooftop JPEG now and open it in Photoshop. And now when we go to the remove tool, I click and hold. Oh, that's true. I wasn't able to use it, was I? Oh, shoot. I couldn't use it the other day and they haven't fixed it yet. Let me cancel. It's such a simple tool. I want to show it to you really quickly. Does someone want to share their screen using it? And then I'll demo it. Rebecca, you've done this a few times. Do you mind sharing your screen? For some reason, I need him to tell them to reinstall or do something because that tool for me isn't working. So anyway, over there on the left side, so hold on, double click and open I'm just talking to Sue for a second. Yeah, open that one, the rooftop. Okay, just a simple double click would do because it's just a JPEG. And then go to the remove tool. Let's see if you have it, if it's just me.
No one come in.
Or if it's that one down. Yeah. No, yep. Remove tool. Oh, now you're in the bottom one. So one up. Okay. So now you up there. Okay. So go there. Okay. So now I'm back here. Okay. So hopefully the remove tool is working for all of you guys. So yeah, choose the remove tool. Yep. All right. And then when you do that, let me get my pencil. So it's the same name. It's called the remove tool. But when you go to find distractions, same as before, it said find distractions, but this time go ahead and click on find distractions. And the choices are wires and cable. Hold on, don't do anything yet. Before we had in the camera raw, we had people, reflections, and what was the third choice?
Dust.
And here, what we have is wires and cables and people. So people is the same. Click on wires and cables and then let it do its thing.
What about the shadows?
Well, let's see what it does. Does it figure it out or not?
No. Did great job on the wires.
Interestingly enough, depending on what it does, it would have found it or not. And in fact, if you look at the shadows, zoom into the image, those lines there are not cable shadows. They are a striated
What about this one?
metal rooftop. This one here belongs to a cable that's not in the image. It
Ah,
doesn't correspond to the image. So it's just a shadow that didn't have its reflection. I have done others where the reflection is part of the image and it did take care of it. But in this case, the cable must be up higher above, but it's not there. See that? So then we would have to use a different tool to get rid of, this is the one that she's talking about.
Where?
But these lines, if you zoom in, they're just the lines of the roof. They weren't cable connections. Okay, did that work for you guys? So now I want to teach you how to deal with this. Now, when I open mine to share, mine won't deal with these cables because the remove tool, for some reason, is telling me that it needs to update my Photoshop. So I've already written to the people here, but I can't use it right now. So mine, when I open it up, I'll still have cables and wires in the sky, but you shouldn't. You should have been able to get rid of them correctly. And if it worked correctly, give me a yes. And maybe post a screenshot of your clean sky. But so when I open mine, I will teach you how to deal with this, okay? With a different tool. All right, so I'm going to, because it's not a wire, so the remove tool won't work with wire.
Why wouldn't I have that?
Are you talking to me, Barbara?
Yeah, I can't find that photo.
It's in the class files.
Was it a second set of class files or?
Yeah, there's class files just for this class. you probably have the class files from the Friday class, which does not include this one. I'm always trying to change them a bit, but you have probably other wire photos in there that you could
Yeah.
use. So let me-
I have some I took also, so I'll just grab a photo and put it in there. Thank you.
So
I'm
now, you're
sorry.
welcome. So now here we are. We have this, as I said, I still have the wires in mine, but
Interesting.
let-
It took away, but there's a pole behind the couple, and it left part of that wire.
part
Yeah,
of the wire or the pole that left the pole,
I
right?
left the pole, and then see how the wire loops around?
Between them. Yeah. Oh, that
No,
one. I left
yeah,
that one.
yeah. It took away about half of it on mine.
Okay. That's interesting. I can,
Did other people lose it or?
that one. Let me look at Sue over here because in hers it worked. It's just my computer.
Same thing happened to mine too.
Yeah, that's interesting. So basically, as far as at least in Sue's, it left
The top part.
left like, yeah, hold on, I can't
Yeah,
ah,
I have the same
trying
as
to change
Sue.
my tool and it's not letting me. Let me change. Okay, I got you. Sorry, I have to move to another one. For her, it left. Wow, something is really okay. So it's not one. My tool's not wanting to work. So it left this much.
About that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it did the rest. Okay, so let me just show you a couple different tools that are working for me. The easiest one would be the spot healing brush, which is the top choice. And make it as small as you can. Okay, so I'm going to make it about the size of my, like a bit bigger. This tool works in that it looks at everything that's inside the circle and it's going to replace it with stuff that it reads from outside the circle. So you need to give it, you can't do that brush next to something tight, but there's nothing but sky around this, right? So I'm going to, by the way, for you guys, did it do it in a destructive or a non-destructive manner? Are the wires
Non-destructive.
It's on a layer.
It's on a layer? Okay. So I don't have that tool because I wasn't able to use it. So I'm on my background. So just for everyone to be aware that if that layer that you have there is a remove tool. So in order to get rid of what's left, you have to select background again. Because on the remove tool layer, that doesn't appear. It appears in the background. Does that make sense? So select the background layer again. And now, if I now watch, if I just suddenly do this and eliminate whatever is under there, it's going to eliminate from the background layer, which I don't want because that is a permanent destructive modification. So I need to create my own little layer. So click down here, this little plus sign. I'm way down at the bottom of the layers now. Okay, way down here. I'm going to click on the plus sign to create a new layer. You guys have another new layer or layer, which is a remove one, but I have just this one that I just made. And now I am going to go and trace, and you can do it in little bits and pieces. So I don't want you to get so fat, so off that you lose it. I'd rather Command Z. I want you to trace this brush and then stop there. If you can't get a good curve, let go of your mouse and it'll clean that up. And if you need to get bigger or smaller or just do your best, and when you start going out, you can see that the curve isn't working well, let go. And then in little bits and pieces, you can start letting go, getting rid of that thing. Okay. The piece that was left that you guys said was still there.
So Diana,
Notice that when you get to the area where there's something next to it, it's not doing a good job because the circle is moving all around looking for something. And no matter how much I try to clean it, it keeps giving me a little black thing there. It doesn't give me nothingness. You see that? I'm going to undo to see what I'm talking about. Every time I approach a real thing, it's giving me like an extra little bit of that. See that? So say that I clean all of
Which
that.
tool are you using there?
Okay, I'm using, let me start from 0. I'm using the spot healing brush tool. So,
And the only reason I'm not using the remove tool is that it would be destructive.
no,
The image?
I'm just teaching you a different tool because sometimes one works better than another and you need to know the different retouching tools.
Because when I try to use in the layer, like the remove tool, it
Yeah.
doesn't let me. It
Yeah,
says can't use the tool because the image is transparent.
exactly. Because think about this. Turn the eyeball off of the background and notice that in your new layer, you don't have that piece of wire. It's not there. So if you try to use it on this layer, it's like there's nothing there.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to go back and select that where the image is, which is the background layer.
Okay, but then why with this other tool you're selecting the layer?
Okay, so let me just start again. You guys have the wires layers there, which is kind of complicated. So how about we bring all the wires back? Everyone go into your history and let's start from 0 because it'll be too complicated to me show you something with that you have different. Let's go all the way to the very top and bring all those wires back, guys, because I want to show you other tools. And because for some strange reason, Photoshop at school is not letting me use that tool, we ended up with different stuff. So let's all the way back to the top choice in your history.
Diana,
Okay. Bring all your wires back. I want you to have the same as me. So go and undo everything. Yes?
we did the find distractions and did the wires on the background layer. So is
Okay,
that
so
destructive?
then that was my mistake because since I couldn't show it to you, I didn't warn you. And I was looking at Rebecca and she already had it set up. But when you do the find distractions, there was a choice up here to create a new layer. And if you did it with that off, then you did it in a destructive manner. So that was
Okay.
my bad. Rebecca, can you share your screen again and let me show you what I'm talking about? Because since you had it on, I forgot that not everyone had that on. Okay, so up here, and let me show you where. When you use go, can you select your remove tool again, please? Click and hold and go down to the remove tool. Click and hold. Oh, you have them in there. Yeah. Okay. So the remove tool. Yeah, that was fine. The bottom.
Which
That's
one?
the eraser tool. You need to go to the Band-Aid and click and hold. Click and hold. There. The second one is the remove tool. Okay. So that remove tool there. Over here at the top, it had some choices that I didn't tell you about because I wasn't sharing mine and she already had them selected. You need to make sure that you have the create new turned on so that it applies it does the wire strokes into a different layer. So can you show the difference, Rebecca? Turn this off for a second. If that's not turned on, then go ahead and do find wires and cables. Since that is turned off, it's going to be destructive. It's going to do it right on the background layer. There it is. These are gone, but it did it on the background layer. Got it? So if there's anything that's good or bad about it, you can't fix it. It's done. Okay? So now, can you undo? So Command Z, go back to your layers and make sure to have the create new layer turned on. I also recommend make sure to have this one on.
Sample all layers.
Select all layers, yeah, okay. You have to be in the remove tool. Hold on, let me help. You have to be in that one. Yeah, so I kind of backtracked back to this one to show that. So then you have to be in create new layer. And you have to be in turn off the remove after each stroke. We don't turn it off. And then turn this one on and turn that one on. So you want these two on. So guys, there's also somewhere something in the middle. So basically the tool has to look like this. This has to be on, this has to be on, and this has to be off. Okay, so just like Rebecca has them on, and off for that tool to be at its best. All right. And when you do it this way, go ahead and find new cables.
But do we,
Or find wires and cables. Because for some people, they had done it the other way. So then the solution should be, and let's give it a second here. The solution should be that you get a new layer called remove tool edits. You see that?
and
So
it's,
that is non-destructive because you can turn this eyeball on and off and bring back your wires, right? So turn the
and it
eyeball on and
still
off.
left that,
Yeah. So this was just kind of redoing what we had done before because since I hadn't taught that, I want to make sure that anyone who learned to use this tool has the tools selected correctly so that you do it non-destructively. Okay, guys? Is that good? Everyone's got that? That
Mhm.
portion of what I was trying to teach, which is basically make sure that you have your layers and you have the tool set up in a non-destructive manner. Okay, so if that's good, then what's next is that Paula was trying to use another tool to remove this, right? So everyone just follow me now, watch me or watch what I'm explaining. And that's break that's coming up. Turn this eyeball off for a second, Rebecca, please. So if you look at this thing here now, all you have is the only pixels here are the pixels that are replacing where cables used to be. The problem is that the cable that we're trying to fix now is somewhere over here, right? Or what? Actually, I think it's over here. So it doesn't exist in this layer. Does that make sense? So you can't use the next tool that we're learning onto this layer because there's nothing on this layer. So you need to select. Can you now turn off this eyeball? Yeah, and turn on the next one. See, this is where we have that thing that we're trying to get rid of. So turning on the eyeball isn't enough. You now need to select the bottom layer. And now you're on the right layer to use the tool. But once again, I just want to finish this and then I want to take a break. Once again, if you do use a second tool, and thank you, Rebecca, for letting me use you, I'm moving your hands, so to say. Let's choose the tool that I told you to choose, which is not this one, but it's the spot healing tool. Click on the spot healing tool now, click and hold. And it's the top one.
Come on, Rebecca.
Okay, so now everyone choose that top one. So here we have a problem that if we do it on here, are we now doing it in a
Destructive manner.
destructive manner? Go ahead and do it, Rebecca. She's doing it. She's dragging this tool all around and it's working, but it's destructive. See how it's gone forever? In fact, if she even tries to turn on this eyeball right now, it'll look weird because there's a thing missing there, right?
It's a little worth.
It's kind of weird. So anyway, go ahead and turn that off for a minute and let's undo that last step then, Command Z, because we want to bring that back. So good. So how do we make this? So did everyone get understand the thing I was just trying to teach?
Mhm.
How to using this tool on this layer is also destructive. So how do we make this one non-destructive? Let's create a new layer.
We can't hear you.
Oh, yep, we lost you again.
Okay, can you hear me now? Every time you tell me you can't hear me, you need to wait like 5 seconds for me to grab my tool, turn it on, my microphone. Okay. So now we've got 3 different layers here. We have the background that isn't being altered. We have the top one where we removed the wires, which right now is turned off. But if you turn it off, it wouldn't affect us at all because we're not touching it. That's just where the wires got removed. So go ahead and turn it on. That's good. But we're left, oh, because you did in between, you didn't completely undo this. So you need, you know what? The stuff you did here didn't go back far enough in your history. So now go further back.
Well, it's there, but I wasn't as accurate. When you turn this on, then you realize that it left some.
Yeah, well, turn these 2 eyeballs off. Because the problem is happened when you were doing that sample there or something. So we're gonna have to go further back, which is not good. But anyway, it's okay. Go ahead and let's assume that you hadn't done that. Turn this one on because we're gonna do that. Turn this one on. Okay, so now we're gonna,
Well, should I undo that?
yeah, go ahead and undo because now it's gone because you had to undo, undo, which means we're gonna lose that layer. We're gonna have to redo it again. But keep going undo until there. Okay, so now turn this on again and let's see if it's still there or not. There we go. So now, here we are, we're ready to go. She's all set up and I want everyone to give me a yes if you're in the same place. She is, let me clear your feedback, which is basically, on this one, you got rid of the big wires.
Mm-hmm.
Then you created a blank new layer and you have selected it, which you haven't selected. There we go. So if you are there, how are we doing here? You're good with that? Oh, you did it on that layer. And let me just check. I need to use this one. Let me just check if you got rid of it. Okay, so you got rid of it in that one, which at least it's kind of non-destructive. So that's good because in the bottom one, it's there. Let me, okay, you're all with me?
I think so.
All right. So now let's grab the spot healing tool, which is the spot healing brush tool. And the important thing about this one, hold on, is that you need to have up here a check mark on, what does it say? I can't read it well. It's
Sample all layers.
sample all layers. So that has to be turned on. Again, you want to keep this one on. Good. So once that is done, now you're going to, yeah, drag around that. And it's sampling from down here, but it's putting the correction on here. Okay.
It's still holding some of that wire.
That's because you left it up there. Yeah, you're gonna have to go up to the top one. I'm gonna come there too. Yeah, you just go ahead and do it on that one. That's just because you had done it originally in that one, and that's why it's okay.
And then there's also a tag hanging from the wire.
Okay. So now if you turn this eyeball off, you should see everything except for that. And when you turn this one off, you should see all the wires. Does that make sense, you guys? Is that how it's working? All of it non-destructive because the original, oh, I've got so much pink over there. The original is all intact, okay? Now, why is it okay that it be intact? Well, say that you really sometime want to come back here, you might even have a better tool in the future. It'll do it even better. Or B, sometimes you might want those lines as part of your image. Just because there's lines there doesn't mean that it's bad. We're just using it as a sample, but it isn't a bad image with the wires. It's just saying something about that area. And you might want someday to come back and have the wires. So by doing it non-destructively, you're not losing that image. And anything that's original is better quality than whatever we put over it. Whatever we put over it is fake. It's Photoshop creating it. Over time, Photoshop's fake creations will be better and better. So you might come back in 5 years and discover that if you do it again, it'll look even better than today. But you can't do that if you've taken them away in a destructive manner. Does that make sense? Okay, so this is the non-destructive way, if you turn these two eyeballs on again, to have used two different tools. And the question is, some people say, do you ever flatten this? And the answer is the explanation I gave. No, not me, I don't. I mean, you could join these two because they're both a correction if you really wanted to have only one layer, but I don't really see the point because between one or two layers, it's not like it makes the file that much bigger. And when you save this now, though, you can't save it again as a JPEG. So what it's going to mean, you end up with two images. You're going to have the JPEG one and the PSD one, the layered one. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to basically end up with two files as soon as you add a new layer. So let's go ahead and say File Save, which means it'll do a Save As, and then say okay to that, and then it'll do a Save As a, oh, you have it set up. It's interesting. Why does your default to TIFF? You should change that to PSD. TIFFs are huger files than, yeah, Photoshop. Top Photoshop is PSD. I noticed other tips there. You've been saving as tips all this time.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I don't know why either. All right, and then you might want to give it a name or not. That's different. That's up to you. Call it remove wires or retouching tools. Really, is what we're doing. And then go ahead and save. Because I'm going to teach you one extra tool that I haven't taught you yet on this one, which is a really important one, which is the healing brush tool. All right, thank you so much for sharing your screen for this whole process because I could not do it. I do not know. I've been teaching Photoshop on my home computer for years now, and I don't have any issues. And then I come teach from school, and suddenly it's like, oh, school's computer doesn't want to do this. But Sue, who is here, is doing it. So it's my computer that's not doing it. I don't know why. Anyway.
I can do it also.
You couldn't do it
No.
on VDI. Interesting.
Yeah.
But Sue is here and she could. So it's not that the school's computer isn't doing it. It's weird. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We're going to move on to the next tool anyway.
Right.
Because you saw that it isn't necessarily a hard tool to use. It's just press go, right, on wires and cables. So it's not like there's a big learning there. All right, so let's take our break. So it's 6:44. Let's meet at 6:54. Let's say 6:55, okay? Be back at 6:55
Diana,
p.m.
just one thing. When I'm saving, I'm seeing a message, maximize compatibility.
Yeah, you always say okay to that one. That's so
Okay.
that if people with a different version of Photoshop open it, it'll still open it. It won't say, oh no, you
So
can only
it's
open it.
checked that maximize compatibility.
Say checked and say
Okay.
okay. Don't change it. Just say okay.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Hopefully you got some screenshots of that one. I don't have screenshots because I didn't do that. So please post screenshots of the remove wires and then the spot healing brush tool. So remember we did both, okay? In a non-destructive manner. So you might want to write the remove tool, remove wire and cables tool and the spot healing brush tool in a non-destructive manner have to be created on a separate layer. Okay, so just write something like that so that you remember that. And then I'll see you guys in 10 minutes. All right, hi again. If you're here, either turn your videos on or give me a yes to show me that you're back. Cool. So, let's go ahead and work on a couple of other things. I wanted to show you the healing tool brush. I just don't think right now that given that my image isn't able to show you what you guys are seeing, that I should probably move on with a tool that doesn't have the remove tool on it. So let's leave that one on hold for now. If necessary, if possible, we can come back to it. But I just want to work with a different image where what I show you reflects the same things that you guys have, okay? So let's go ahead and move over to, let me share my screen. Hi, Sue. Okay, share my screen.
There we go.
Here we go. So let's go back to Bridge. And here in Bridge, we're going to open up an image. And I kind of wanted to do it with this one, but again, I can't because I don't have the same things you have. So it's going to complicate issues. But I have another image kind of right next to it. Two, in fact, that are right next to it. But let's go with this one. When you click on it, it's something I haven't really told you yet about the metadata, but this is a pretty small image. It's a very compressed image. Let's go ahead and double click and open it up. So again, it's a pretty compressed image. But one salient feature of this image is that the sky is kind of like Santa Barbara, flat blue with nothing to it, right? Which of course is like, yay, how beautiful for people who live in, you know, moldy, wet, dusty places. Or, but for us, it's like, okay, it's just our everyday, we're so spoiled, our everyday sky. But what if we want something a bit more interesting in that sky? What if we want some clouds or something like that? So again, one of those features that exists inside of Photoshop, not inside of Camera Raw, but it does exist in camera and Photoshop, is a sky replacement tool. Now, if I were to try to replace this sky in particular, I was going to use the other one, which was more complicated. So you guys who did get the wires taken away, you might want to try it with that one later. First do this one. But this one here, to remove and rechange a sky, the new sky would have to cut out a whole city, right? So it was going to be a more interesting example. That's what I'm saying. After I'm done with the example, you guys go ahead and apply it to this one. But the reason we're using this one is because I couldn't remove the wires. So we're going to do it on this one. And ultimately, there's not that many interesting things interrupting this, but this would have been hard to cut out nicely, this bush and this hair and then this hat, and then we're back to just pretty much flat. So if you want to replace one sky with another, this horizon, whoops, is pretty, is got not much stuff, right? It just has a few things in the way. On top of that, it's a very compressed image. So when you zoom in, I'm at 400%, it's looking all weird because it has so many JPEG artifacts, right? Anyway, we're going to go ahead and looking at it at 100%, right? And this is the image that I have. So in this quality, that's what we have. We're going to use a tool. We're going to go up to edit. And we're going to go to sky replacement.
Okay, come on, there's a way to do that.
Where is edit?
Okay, let me share my entire window so you guys can see it, because on a Mac, sometimes you don't see those tools. So way at the top, where when you see Photoshop, you see the Apple, whatever, all those tools where you get your window, your other stuff, there's edit. And then almost, 2/3 down, there's sky replacement. Found it? All right, so here's a sky replacement tool. And the first sky that tries to replace is by default whatever comes out first, which happens to be this one. Now, if you've used a different sky replacement before, it'll be in whichever one you left last. Now, I want you guys to notice that first of all, this does look pretty weird, pretty fake, but I venture to say that it's mainly because this sky doesn't match this photo. Does that make sense? In fact, if I
Yeah.
turn off this preview right here and I look, notice that it's just not just the sky that's being replaced, but keep an eye on the people and notice that they've also turned a little bit yellow, right? So this tool does much more than replace your sky. It tries to match the ambient to the sky. But it's hard to do that when you have this harsh, right? Midday, hot sun kind of shadows. Does that make sense? So no matter that you make it yellowish, it still looks bizarre, for better or for worse, because this lighting shouldn't be yellow. So let's see the choices we have here. First of all, even if I play around with all these sliders, I'm going to ignore them right now. This is the wrong sky for this photo. So Photoshop has a bunch of little skies here embedded in its tools. They come with Photoshop. So everyone who owns Photoshop has these same sets of extra skies. If you click on this little arrow right there, turns out we have a lot of blue skies. So I'm going to start testing. How about that one? Well, that's kind of what we had before. So how about this one? How about this one? How about this one? How about this one? Right? So we start trying different skies until we see if maybe one of these makes more sense than another. And for the most part, like this one here is kind of weird because the clouds finish in the middle of the horizon, right? So a photo that looks like it might have a really good time with the sky, we're still having a little bit of a problem with them. How about that one? How about that one? So that's a weird one. It even has some rocks in it. Okay. Oh, because this is one that we had brought. So then we go into spectacular ones. And again, this is not a rainy
None of
day.
those work.
It won't work, right? So whichever ones you have here are the ones that kind of come with the image. So I can keep trying, but I doubt I'm going to make almost any of these work. Look at that one. It's pretty spectacular, but it doesn't match this photo. Anyway, as I keep going down all the choices, I'm kind of left with, well, does any one of these work? Now, I don't really think any of them work, but let me just show you a couple of details of what we could have helped to make it work. I'm going to go back to this one because there's other tools that might help this one work a little bit better, or we can bring our own sky in, which is what I was going to propose. But first, let me show you the tools that exist that I could try to make this sky work better or not. First of all, when I first brought this one in, and I chose this one, I can make that one, if I look at it, I'm just zooming in to see it a little bit better here. Zooming in a little bit. It does seem to have a far horizon, which you would think might match this, but we're not seeing that. Like it's just kind of cutting that cloud in the middle. So what if I move the sky around a little bit? So let's see what I'm talking about. Let's click out of that. Say this is the one that we chose. And let's see what we can do if we can move this a little bit or not. First of all, I can try to shift the, no, I don't want to shift the edge first. Wait, the scale over here. Here's a scale of the photo. So if I make this photo be bigger or smaller, right? Oof, I went too small. So it doesn't even fit. So there, I move it down. I think it, even if I scale it down, I'm losing it. It looks like that is as small. See over here where I'm missing sky on the two sides, but I see some horizon. Suddenly that doesn't look so bad. Let me just ignore this and that because ultimately I can move that around and cut some of that image off later. But do you see the difference between over there where the photo fit really well into my photo, where I'm cutting a cloud in the middle, which looks really fake because that's not how our horizon ends. You know what I mean? So if I make this photo down a little bit in scale until I have space between, you know, between the horizon, and if I could hide the two things that are missing, and we're going to do some generating there around it, then suddenly that sky doesn't look so bad, and it's a pretty sunny sky. There's clouds in there, but in the area that we are seeing the sun, right? Now, we probably should have some patches of shade somewhere because there is, you know, but these could be very high clouds that aren't really shading anything. So anyway, it could look correct. But then there's other stuff here that this is adjusting. I could adjust it to make it look bluer, yellower, right? So to make it match the images a bit more. So here's me changing the tone of that sky. I could also go ahead and make it brighter to make it match a brighter day, right? Or less bright. So, you know, just play some of these things around to try to make it match a bit more to the mood of your photo. You can shift the edge so that it affects more or less of the connection so that it looks like it's fading out a little bit more. So there's things here that you can play around with a little bit to help it look more real. The main thing here is that we don't have the two edges. I'm not going to worry too much about that. I'm going to show you what we're going to do about that when we're done. I could also do, so that's sky adjustments. I can also do foreground adjustments. So maybe over here, I need to change the lighting to be more or less. And now foreground is talking about what's left over, right? The stuff that's not the sky. So it's trying to change see the transition here, how it's changing. So depending on what we are using, we might need more edge lighting, less edge lighting. So look, this is the edge, the transition between the sky and the original photo and the new sky. That's what's considered edge. So look what happens if I go all the way there. See how it darkened over there? Or if I go all the way here and it got much lighter. So depending on a bright day, like a lighter transition looks a bit more realistic, right? So anyway, you play around. So here's the foreground lighting. If it's all the way to the left or all the way to the right, it looks like it's dark in this area. So this part, like the first inch down there, or it leaves it lighter, which kind of matches this very bright image, right? So you play around with the different things that might help it adjust. In the sky, to make it brighter, I made it brighter. I think that helped. I scaled it differently. I think that helped. I'm just trying to use one of the skies that they have. But the important thing is I'm going to output it to a new layer. Okay, so I'm not going to have it apply to this layer. I'm going to have it be on a new layer. There's more we can do with it right now. That's all I kind of want to do with it because I'm going to show you a few other things. But if you like what you did or not, or you're learning, I'm going to say okay to that for now. Notice that if I make this a bit bigger, you can look at it and not see those edges, and it might look a bit more realistic. All right, so I've said okay to that. And look at what I have over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers and a group. So what does this group mean? Sky replacement group. See this little arrow there? If I click on that, it's a folder that holds all the layers that are my sky replacement. Okay? So that there, if I open it, holds all these different, let's turn all these eyeballs off and let's start turning some off. First of all, this one here that has the sky is the sky itself. I'm going to turn that one on, right? And as you can see, it's got a mask made by Photoshop. Then there's another one underneath. If I turn that one on or off, it might or not be affecting. I don't see too much where this one is affecting it. Clearly, this one on the other hand, and this one. So they're all different layers that depending on how we shift what slide, let me just move this over. See, that's the brightness, the temperature, the foreground lighting, and the sky. So if we turn them all off one by one and we turn this one on and off, we might not see much difference because all this is a little bit of foreground lighting. If I double click, I've got different choices of things that made it happen. We're not going to, these are made for us by Photoshop, so we're not going to alter them right now too much. And it's the combination of all of them that gives us our solution. Okay. Now, I can live with that and like it, in which case I would have to chop these two corners off, which is a choice. Let me go to crop. And I'm going to chop that off and chop that off. And I'm going to do it right now, but just watch. If I do that, then suddenly it looks better, right? Because we've been seeing all that other stuff and it looked kind of weird. But if you chop that stuff that didn't fit, that kind of works, yeah? But what if I didn't want to chop his hand off? So I'm going to undo that. Okay? So now we're back to having those two corners. Is everyone with me? Let me clear. I want to make sure that you're all kind of with me and you did at least that much.
Yeah, sort of.
Now, for example, Sue here didn't scale it differently, so she doesn't have that missing. So if you guys didn't scale it, you might not have that problem, and that's okay. I mean, just saying. Now, this is non-destructive in the sense that if you turn this eyeball on and off, your sky is still there. But what it's not is it's not editable. Like I can't double click and choose a different sky. Does that make sense? What I can do is I can say, well, I don't like this one, turn it off and try another sky. Does that make sense? But it's not like we can choose a different sky right here. But I want to show you something. If I were to want to do, let me turn this guy off. I brought a couple of skies. I thought I had brought a couple of skies, but I think probably this is the only sky I brought. I thought I had two different skies. That's okay. So I brought
I accidentally turned the
right
people
What's that?
into black and white with a colored sky.
You turned them into black and white with a colored sky. That's a bit weird, yeah.
Accident.
So I brought these two clouds. Clearly, one isn't going to work and one might work. I don't know. But how do we then try our own skies? So before I keep going with trying to fix that sky that was one of the ones provided by Photoshop, let's just see if I turn this eyeball off, we might like it, we might want to do it, but let's select again our background. And this time, let's go see how do we add our own skies, the sky that we might have shot specifically for this image, okay? So hold on to your background, turn off the one that came in with the Photoshop, and let's go back again to edit sky replacement. And this time, we're going to go to the same sky choices, click on that arrow, and at the very bottom of these choices, you have a plus sign. Now, if I close my blue skies and my spectacular skies and my sunset skies, I could create a new folder with my skies. Like if you make a lot of folder skies of your own, you could have my skies here and create a new folder, your personal skies, Deanna's skies, whatever skies. Or you can just add your sky to the blues, to the spectaculars, or to the sunsets. You can just mix them, right? But right now, just to show you how, I'm going to create a new folder. So I'm going to click on this little folder here. I'm going to call this one Deanna's Skies, for example. Oh, Deanna's. If I could only spell my own name correctly, that would be nice. So you guys put in your name or whatever. Since it's your Photoshop, hopefully in the future you'll bring your own skies in here. I say Deanna's skies. I say okay. And then with that one selected,
I forgot where I got it.
and you can just bring in loose skies. They don't need to be in a folder, but it's better. Then click on this little plus sign right there. So Sue, go to sky replacement again. Yeah.
Diane, I forgot where I got sky replacement.
Okay, so you're gonna go up to edit
Okay,
sky replacement.
thank you.
Now, ideally, you would have turned off the eyeball on the new sky that we put in because now we're gonna replace again based on nothing. So let me just cancel this for a minute. If this one's still on, now you're gonna put another sky on top of this sky, right? So I would rather go ahead and say cancel to the sky replacement, Sue, and turn this eyeball off because, and if you have them open and you have many of them, just turn the eyeball off of the group because that turns all of them off. And then it's easier to collapse it so it's not so confusing. Right? Just so that we're working on the blank, the good old blank sky again. And now let's go to edit sky replacement again. And so I'm just marking on this that I'm seeing here from Sue, but if any of you guys had the other sky turned on again, go ahead and turn it on. Now, click on this guy. Click on this little arrow right there to make your own little folder. And we're going to go and make a new group and call it your skies, whatever, Sue skies or whatever you
Where'd it
want to call
go?
it, new skies, personal skies, whatever you want to call it. And then we're going to click on this plus sign and we're going to have to go to our class files to find wherever we have our skies. And let me go and see what we call them. We call them cloud sunset and clouds white. Let's go bring those two in. So I'm going to go to the C and put this in order of names. There's
Where'd it
cloud
go?
sunset. I have to bring one at a time. Open. And so let's go back in there. That one's in. Now I'm going to do another plus sign. I'm going to go clouds white. I'm going to say open. So now I have both of my skies in there. And if I close that, now if you didn't put them in your own little folder and they're just loose, no biggie. Just showing you how, one way how they could be organized. I'm going to clean your answers and let's see if you guys have brought in your skies. I'm going to post the Padlet again because I'm going to go ahead and do a screenshot of this so that we can see the whole sky replacement, you know, kind of thing in motion. Even if we haven't changed the sky here yet, but it's a screenshot. Well, you guys wait for you guys to give me a yes. I'm going to post this one.
Oh God, I don't know what I did.
Sky replacement. I have added 2 of my own skies to the Photoshop sample skies. Oh, that's not the right. That's it. Load. Okay, so that's go to edit sky replacement.
What
So,
did I do? Okay.
right
Command C.
there, and that screenshot is just about showing how to add more skies. Okay, has everyone added their own skies for whom it worked or didn't work? I'm seeing, Rebecca, you're saying no. Everyone else, I need a yes or a no to see where you're stopped. And the best way for this to help is probably to have you guys share your screen and I can help you kind of on the way. So Rebecca, you want to share your screen since you're the first one to answer? I'm seeing that there's confusion for a lot of people, so we're gonna do this again. So let me start. Rebecca, want to share your screen? Okay. So go over. So, and everyone, of course, try to redo the steps the way I'm showing Rebecca. So head over to this little icon there under sky replacement. Okay. And at the very bottom, and by the way, if you guys didn't, why is she here? Because she's already collapsed all these guys. So can you uncollapse them so people can be kind of, if you have these open, you're seeing all these sample skies that Photoshop brought. So then you have to go all the way down, right? Before you get to nothingness. But if instead you collapse them when you see a name from the very top, wait, go to the very, okay, wherever you see them. Yeah, so those are already Rebecca Skies. Go back to the top and close the rest of them. So close the blue skies. Spectacular. Oh, the thing is that you made, okay, because you didn't go all the way here to make them. You put yours inside of blue skies. Yeah, I see that. So now if you scroll down inside of blue skies, you have Rebecca's skies. I'm wondering if you can move it out. Click on that. Is there any way to right click? Do something about that? Drag it down until, go back up to where you were still, yeah, now go, wait. Drag it down to here where they all start moving down. There we go. A little bit higher, there. And see, keep going. No, you need to no, it only goes one by one. Your best bet is to delete it. Select that, trash it, and then delete the sky group. Yeah. And then go back in and get in again. So this probably happened to quite a few of you guys. Collapse all your different ones. And here where you're done, now you create your new group. No, first create your new group. So say cancel, create your new group, which is that one. Call that one Rebecca Skies. So she had made it, but it had fit inside of one of those, which is fine to put Rebecca's Blue Skies, Rebecca's Spectacular, Rebecca's Sunset. You know what I mean? But if you just want to have all of yours in your own skies and have them all together, that's fine. You could also do you can put Rebecca Skies and then have subgroups with your spectacular ones or not. Okay, so now that you have your own folder, now you go to the plus sign and you bring in your skies. And here I just have two called clouds. So go to the C, there you go. Try to select two. Let me see if it does. Let's click on one and go to shift key and select the second one. Yeah, lets you bring in two at a time. Good, that's faster. And
Oh
good.
my
There
God.
they are. Okay. So say perfect. Say okay. Now that's probably what happened to a lot of you guys, that you brought them in, but they were inserted into other skies. If that's so, change yourself to a yes or something like that. But if not, if you still need help, then give me a no. I'm going to clear your feedback. So now give me a yes again if it's not working for you, or give me a no if you need help. Yes, Tatiana. Now go see if any of these two that we brought fit. Clearly, the colorful one won't fit. I don't know about the other one. I haven't tested it. See if it fits any better. Tatiana?
I stuck with my folder name and I can't
Okay, share your
fix
screen.
it. I can
It's
fix
probably fit inside of some other folder. Share your screen.
No, it's not inside.
Yeah, maybe it's not that. That's fine.
It's
Let me
because
see.
it was named wrong and I can't undo it.
Oh, okay. Say, okay. Oh, it has, you probably put, yeah. They don't like anything with,
Yeah, and I can't,
you can't
it's
undo.
not react to Z, to history, nothing work.
If you say okay, nothing's
I
happening.
say okay and nothing happened
You
and
hit
I
escape.
start,
Oh,
it's okay again here. I tried to go here,
okay, so say cancel. Do the
cancel.
whole thing, cancel.
It's,
No, okay, hit escape. Say okay, now hit escape with your escape key.
uh-huh.
Do you know the escape key on your keyboard?
Oh, okay.
There we go. Now try again.
Okay, thank you.
Escape is equivalent to quit or exit, and it's to edit. You're in the file.
Edit, yeah, edit, sky
File
replay.
replacement. Let's see if it comes up with that same message, or if it's, hold on, it's thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on.
I-
Wait until that goes away. Wait until that. Are you clicking?
Yeah, I
Stop
know.
clicking.
Did I what?
Your mouse is moving. Is it you moving it or?
Oh, I gave her a
I'm
treat.
gonna mute you. Hold on. Here we go. All right. That little circle that she has on her mouse, that's computer thinking. So it's not gonna do anything.
Yeah, I
until it's
know.
finished. So maybe it's going through, maybe you're gonna have to end up closing Photoshop and opening it again for it to forget whatever it is that happened.
Maybe I
No,
can
there it
try
is.
like this, no?
Okay, so now
And
there's your
then-
Tatiana. Same thing as it happened to Rebecca. It's within blue skies. It's not a problem if you know it's there. But if you want to move it, then just delete it and create it again. So select the Tatiana. And then go down to the little trash. In here and click on the trash. Just click on the trash. Yeah. Delete it, say okay. Yeah, and now go back up here. And now close collapse blue skies first. No, close the little arrow that's next to that folder, close it up. Yeah, and then close the next one and close the next one so that you have space. And now create your own group. So now on the left, no, the group first, on the left, on the left.
Oh, I'm
Say
sorry.
cancel. Yeah, go to the little icon on the left of the plus sign first, create your group. There you go. Call it Tatiana Skies, and then do the plus sign and bring in your skies. Okay, Paula, you're not answering yes or no, so make sure to answer. And then next up would be Barbara, so.
No, I'm fine. I wrote in the chat now. How can I go back to the sky and keep
Okay.
editing?
All right, give me a second. Now press on the plus sign, Tatiana.
Plus.
On the bottom, go back and press on the plus sign, go down to where you trashed, yeah, and that little plus sign, click on that, and now bring in your skies. You would have to probably go back to the class files under Google Drive. So scroll down, I don't know where you have it. No.
No?
In that window that you have in front of you. No, close this. You can't do it from out there. It has to be from inside of Photoshop. So go back and say, yeah, that white box that's there, click on there. And now go in this box, go find your Google Drive. So scroll up and down there. My Drive, where you have the class files. Double click. And then get into the fall.
Fall.
And now go into the C's for the cloud, the two cloud names. And you can, so go down to the C, scroll down. And not too far, you went too far. Up, the C, way higher up. A, B, C, D, A, B, C, you're at the G, so go up again. And there, cloud sunset and clouds white. So you can select both. Select one, then hit the shift key and select the other one.
Double click.
No, select one time, hold on the shift key and select the one on the right. So you, no, I don't know where you went. Click on one, good. Now hold on the shift key and now click the next one, the clouds white. To the right, one to the right.
Shift.
Shift, and now click on the next one to the right, the other clouds. Yeah. Cool, now you've got both. Now you can go down and say open. And good, now you're coming
Okay.
in. Okay, let me go check and see. Sue here is getting blank skies. Okay, so there you go, they've come in. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop your share.
Thank
I'm
you.
gonna check in on what's happening to Sue over here. And then I'm gonna go to Paula's question and Barbara, who has her hand up, yeah. So what are you bringing? Try again, go to the.
Actually, I don't need you. I
go to the
found
plus
it.
sign.
I can
Okay.
lower my hand.
Got it. Sometimes when I'm helping one person, everyone gets the other question. Right, so, and you selected the cloud and it came in as nothing. There are the two clouds. Instead of having to do it, okay, select one. All right, say open. Let me close it for a minute. Let's say, okay, let's see if it redraws and that they might be there because what you did is right. Huh.
Ooh, there was something there.
Yeah, but it was the one that's not ours. Let me just select all these and delete them all. Yeah. So what are we left with? Sue Skies, there's nothing there. The one last time, but yeah, you're bringing them correctly, so.
Let's see.
Now, what if I try to use it? No, it's just a bunch of white that's coming up on top. It's so weird. There's only one thing that I'm gonna do is that you've got one over the other. So this is the one that we're bringing in right now, which is a whole bunch of white. It's the old one. I don't know why yours is not bringing it in. Does anyone else have the issue that the cloud that you brought in doesn't show anything? No, I deleted it. One last attempt to bring a new one in, but I don't know.
What do you mean doesn't show anything?
Yeah, she's bringing in the same files that we're all using. She's bringing it in, clouds white or cloud sunset, and it turns into this one.
Did that.
Oh, that one worked this
That
time.
one worked.
Now let's try again, the clouds white. She was getting a blank.
Look, that's different. That icon on the left is different than the other.
Maybe it hadn't redrawn them yet. Let's see. This one's still coming in as nothing. I don't know why one works and the other one doesn't. That's so weird. Well,
Okay. I wanna
other
do-
than trying it again, I really don't know. Okay. So, back over here, Barbara, your hand was up.
Yeah, I lowered it.
By
Because
the
I
way,
got
hold on, Barbara, 1 second. Everyone, if you've brought this one in and you like it or works or doesn't work, I haven't tried it yet, so I don't know if it works. I would like you guys to go and try to replace the sky of the one you removed the wires to see what's happening there. Just because you have that one open, go play with that while I'm talking to people about this one. So yes, Barbara.
I'm okay.
Oh, you're okay. All right. So since no one else is asking, it seems.
Me.
Who's me? Oh, there we go. Paula, yes.
So I added the sky, okay, that we brought from my folder. But
I haven't tested it yet. Does it work or not? I don't know.
no, but the thing is, I want to keep playing with it, and now all that
Okay.
editing part disappeared. How
All
do
right.
I
So, okay,
keep-
share your screen. So let me see what's happening. Share your screen.
Wait.
And then meanwhile, if you're done with this sky, if you like one, go ahead and post it on the Padlet. Okay. Keep doing that. And that way I can see what you're doing. And if you don't, then don't. So I need to see a bit more. First of all, let me just say that over here, let me, hold on. I need where are my tools for drawing? I've lost my drawing tools. Hold on. Annotate, give me a second. There we go. I've got my drawing tools again. Okay, so can you zoom in the command plus a few times? First of all, you need to be in your move tool. That's what's happening. You're in your crop tool. So you can't do anything in the crop tool. Okay, good. Now
Oh.
over here, you should have, there's something here that you still have turned on that since your Photoshop is new and I didn't catch at the beginning, turn this show transport controls off and turn the auto select off. This is just something we did at the very beginning, but you didn't get to set yourself up with it because you're scrolling. Okay. So if you want to, if you already put it in, see over here, you guys, it's already installed. This is what I mentioned about the fact that it's not destructive because my original sky is over there, but it is not editable. What do I mean by that? I can't go back into the tools the way you were asking me to modify the settings for this one. If I don't like it, I need to just throw this one away and bring it in again and first make all those changes before I say okay. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Editable means that I can still change it. And it's only editable in that I might be able to mask the sky again differently or something, but I'm stuck with what I brought.
Because
So
when
go
I
ahead and
double
select that.
click here, it
No, because it is not editable. That is a whole different window. Cancel out of that window.
Okay.
And select that folder, delete it, click on the trash over here, or right click delete the whole group and contents, yep. And now go back up to replace sky, choose the same sky or whichever one you want. And you have to make all your changes here. By the time you say okay, you can't come back in. Does that
Okay.
make sense?
Yes.
So it's not destructive, but it is not editable. It doesn't, like other filters you've been using, it doesn't let you go back in and keep playing around with it. Okay?
Okay.
So now,
Thank you.
yes, you can play around all you want with this one.
Okay.
But the moment you say, okay, down here, then you're stuck with what you chose, right? Is everyone clear with that? Okay. Rebecca, yeah.
I'm on the rooftop and added some clouds and
Oh, okay.
I've
Let's
got,
see how it's working.
I've
Wanna
got
share your screen?
stripes.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, good point. Thank you. Share that. I want to show that. That's great. Share that. Because, yeah. So, yeah, I'm so glad you said that. And I'm glad I asked you to try this and you're trying it because watch. She replaced this guy. Well, first of all, you have the tools still out here. So you're not, yeah, there's the tools. So go ahead and if you look over here, guys, she's trying to replace the sky, right? But the problem here, let me get my tool, hold on, my annotation tool. But you see how she's seeing the shadows of the wires? So what's happening, right? So layers and positioning matters. So let's go ahead. Where's the tool thing? You got rid of it? Where's the sky tool? Did you say okay to it?
No, I haven't said okay yet.
Where is it? Bring it up. I don't see it. Are you
No,
sharing it? Yeah,
I
there
just
it
said
is.
okay. So now it's
Oh,
here.
now you do have it. Okay.
Yeah.
So then notice what happened to the mask here. It's a mask that's respecting these lines. You see that? Because it's
So, but I
fitting that
can
they're
get rid of
working.
the lines, but
No, so go ahead and get rid of it. Go ahead and get rid of this whole thing. Go select sky replacement group. Yeah, and now trash it. Or right click and delete. Okay. So first of all, when you need to see what you're selecting before you start. Okay. So you had, I don't know what you had selected. Right now you have that selected. I don't know if that's what you had before. Go ahead and go back to the background. And now let's do the sky replacement tool and see what it does with that.
it's thinking
Okay.
it's still got stripes,
Mhm.
even stronger.
Yeah, so because, and see you guys, the computer doesn't care, Photoshop doesn't care. It just assumes that this is part of the image. Why? I just wanted to show you why. Because the image we're working on, go ahead and drag this over a little bit out so we can see our layers. No, move it into the image here. Yeah, so we can see everything. Okay. Because we told it to work on this image. And guess what? This image, what does it have? The original image still has our wires, remember? So then any replacement that's happening is assuming that the wires are there, but then on top of that, when the replacement happens, it's made space for all these edits. So I'm so glad you showed you this because remember I've always said, don't flatten. In fact, on this image, I said, don't flatten, don't flatten, don't flatten. Remember that? Well, there's a time and place where flattening might need to happen, but you want to do it to another image before you place this one. Okay. First of all, I want to try one more test, say cancel to that, and I'm pretty sure it won't matter anyway. But now select the top one just to see if it figures out. It probably won't. It can't figure out that that's the sky. I'm thinking they Photoshop things. And
I'm wondering if because I've got that, it was the eyeball was on. If the eyeball was off, would we not see those stripes?
No, because the sky needs to lay itself across those guys. And I don't think it can do it, but try that. Turn all these eyeballs off. Like, let's go back to the original. I highly doubt it can do that, but you know what? I might be wrong. Go ahead and try that. It would be great if Photoshop, if the sky could do that. And then we would have to add the corrections. But we'd have to do the corrections again. Okay. So here we are. It made it work, right? Let's say okay. It made it work. Yeah.
And then
So now these are invalidated. Let me show you why they're invalidated. Turn this eyeball on. These are corrections based on the original sky. Turn this eyeball off.
Oh, turn this one off and this one on.
Yeah. So if you now turn the original one on and off for a second, way down here, that correction is a strip of blue sky that corresponds with that sky. It's the right color for this sky. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense to everyone? What's happening? This correction that we did earlier is kind of this grayish, muggy sky, is the sky that the original photo has. Hold on, turn this eyeball on and off. And
Yeah, it's
that's that muggy
blue and
sky. And when you leave that on, but you turn this off, bottom one off, that's the right muggy blue. Does that make sense?
mm-hmm.
So when you then change the sky to this sky, now turn the bottom one on again. Yeah. Then these colors don't work anymore because they're masking that sky, not
Mhm.
this one. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
it's the order in, you know how there's, I don't know how to say it in English. There's a thing that I learned. Some of you guys might know this or not. I don't know. At this point, I don't say it so much in Photoshop, but I'm an Argentinian, right? And I learned numbers and math in Spanish. So there's some things that I can only say in Spanish. I'm sure there's an equivalent, but we say in Spanish, el orden de los factores no altera el producto. The order, like 2 plus 3 is 5 and 3 plus 2 is 5. The order in which you do that, whatever those things are called, doesn't alter the end result. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Well, guess what? In Photoshop, the
It does.
positioning of the layers and the order in which you do stuff does alter the end result. Okay. Now, it's going to be a push to have this. So turn this one off because this is the old one. You might want to call it old sky or something, right?
Mhm.
Now, with this one turned on, right? Click on sky replacement group right there.
It's on.
Okay. Now, let's go to the remove tool again.
If I can remember.
It's under there. Click and hold. And I'm going to show you something important that you need turned on. So remove tool. Okay, and now watch. There's one thing that's really important, which is sample all layers. It needs to be turned on. Because now when you create this next one, and by the way, was this selected or was this selected? Because you need to start with this selected. Go ahead and cancel for a second.
Well,
Or not cancel, but select the top one.
oh, okay. No, it wasn't. So
Select that group, yeah. And let's make sure that it knows that you're applying it to all these layers. If you are down here, it wouldn't consider those part of the image. So now that you're there, let's see if you can find distractions and see if it corrects it with this new sky.
the target layer is unsupported. Create a new
Select
layer.
sample all layers and try again.
Well,
And
we got sample.
so go ahead and sample, select this layer. Maybe the group is not supported. Select this top layer then. I don't know. Let's see if that's going to work now. Find distractions and wires and cables.
And it's working.
Yeah, let's see if it includes all the choices.
It's much harder with this guy. It's
Yeah,
like,
but that sky actually looks pretty good here, doesn't it? It gives it this feeling of really being up high or something. I don't know. And there you go.
looks pretty good.
Here's the remove, but it's now considering this sky. So if you turn all these eyeballs off for a second, just drag across that, turn those off. This doesn't correspond to our old sky now. It corresponds to this sky. Does that make sense to you guys? What's been
Yeah.
happening? Everyone, were you able to follow? Give me a yes if it makes sense to you. How this is now reading this sky, and these little strips are the bright blue with the clouds. So turn these on again. So the place in which you created that, remove it, it's mattered, right? Now, if you turn this eyeball off where you get rid of that sky, you also get rid of the top one, the group. If you, no, leave that on, turn the group off. Now
then
those
back to
remove
the-
it, it still work because they're acting upon that sky. right? So if you turn that eyeball off, that works for that sky. But if you turn this one on now, yeah, and if you leave that one on, then it won't work because that'll bring back the gray. No, 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 leave all that on and then go try that one on. And now it's giving you those gray streaks again,
Of the old sky.
the old sky, right? So then these need to be dragged down here so that they're only affecting the old sky. Yeah, there you go. And then that one. Okay. So now you'll only have to turn this choice on or off, and then both sets will not have wires depending on which sky you prefer. So turn this one on
It's
too.
magic.
Okay, so it's all about reordering your layers. Okay, so yeah, give me some screenshots of that. That looks great. Thanks for trying it on this photo. And this is the one I originally wanted, but since I got stopped by my cables, I couldn't try it on here. Everyone keep working, okay? And keep doing screenshots because I want to see what's happening. Classes will be over soon. I want to see all these variations. Yes, Eric?
I kind of did the same thing, but in a different way.
Okay, share your
Um,
screen. I'd love to see. It's always great to see variations. Guys, there's so many ways to do the same stuff in Photoshop always. But in this case, I wouldn't know what different way would be. So show me.
let's see.
Are you sharing? No.
Yeah, I'm trying. It's asking for my permission.
Oh, you haven't shared yet.
Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
I usually at the first of the class, I begin having people do that. Sorry. So go to preferences and then you have to turn on Zoom. Tell me where you are and I'll walk you through
Oh,
it.
okay. I think I got it now.
You got it? Okay, great. Wow. All right. So tell me what.
So what I did is I basically
So you,
I duplicated all these layers
mm-hmm,
like this,
yeah,
and then so when I duplicated them, I then
it
later
created, yeah. Go
and
ahead
then
and
I
undo because, yeah, go ahead and undo for a second, just for a second.
oh,
Okay, so let me explain one thing to the rest, and then you can keep going with your demo. I want to show you what's up because it can get complicated if I don't like center people into what's happening. So
mhm,
he had already done what I asked Rebecca to do, but he had done it to start with, like the background and his layer 1 and 2 that affect this background were together. And he had already put the new sky replacement group up higher. You see that? So this is what I ended up with Rebecca, but Rebecca had these two, and then she had her sky in between, and that's why it wasn't working. So in this case, this is the fix for that sky. Does that make sense?
mhm,
But then you didn't necessarily have to, just so you know, you could have just turned these eyeballs on without duplicating them and then create the new sky replacement, just so you know. But in this case, let me just show you. He wanted to create a new option. So this here is a flattened version of these three all together.
mhm, yeah.
Okay.
Mhm,
So, and you could have done it, you did, the way you did it worked. It's the long way around of there's a one shortcut that you can do to do that. So basically, let me explain again what you did. He wanted this to not have wires and then to replace the sky. So instead of having two options, which we ended up with two options with Rebecca, he said, I'm going to make this be a resulting destructive layer, so to say, destructed, while still keeping this as non-destructive. So what he did is he selected these three and then he flattened them. And the result, can you turn this one on? The result is this, which is the result, okay? It's like one layer that shows you all these three. Does that make sense, you guys? Okay, go ahead and let's do it again. Turn this one off for a second, or even get rid of this one because you can just do it again. So hold on. Get rid of that one. Okay, so watch. This is the non-destructive version of getting rid of sky. But if he turn this eyeball on, go ahead and turn eyeball on of your sky replacement, it works, right? Because he put it on top. So this is basically what Rebecca did at the end. She put hers on top and then it works. But what Eric did is on top of that is he created this as a flat layer without losing what's there. So if you can go slowly, I'll walk people through what you did. So he selected all three of these. And how do you select all three is you hold down the shift key. Okay, so that you can select the top one, shift key, and you select all three. You see that? But if he now flattens them, can you for a second flatten them without duplicating them? Go ahead and flatten them. Right click, flatten, okay? No, not image, because then you're also gonna get that one flattened to it. So just say flatten, just say merge layers, the ones that you've selected. So watch what happened. If he did that, you have one, well, hold on, because I don't want you to do too much because I want you to be able to undo. So
Okay.
this is it. This is the good background. He's lost all his cables. You see that? But he's also lost the chance of changing it or fixing it because he flattened them. Does that make sense? So he wanted to create a flattened version without getting rid of the other three. So now go ahead and say Command Z. So what he did is he first copied all three of those. Okay. So he did a right click, duplicate. And then you say, okay, see now he has 3 and 3. Can you guys tell? It's the same 3. Wait for a minute for people to absorb that. It's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's the same ones, but they're duplicates. Yeah? Nod, no. If I see a lot of no's, I want to explain it again. You see that? You just
Does
click, okay.
this double your pixels?
Yes, triple, 6-tuple, right? But yeah, because it's 3 layers, and now you have 6 layers. But now he's going to flatten these 3. So now right click and merge layers. So now he only has one new one, but it's got all the changes of these 3. So he created a flattened one, but he left those there. Does that make sense? Now, it might or not be necessary, and I have an easier way to show you how to do that, but that's a perfectly good way. As everything, Photoshop has so many ways. There's actually one tool that does that, but that worked. And then with that one, to that one, he added the sky replacement. But now the replacement is without wires. That said, you could have done that just with these 3 on and not necessarily had to make that layer, as long as you put it on top versus underneath, which is kind of what had happened to Rebecca. Does that make sense? So that's like we call it a copy merged layer. And I can show you there's a shortcut. It's like Shift Option key, Command E, and then boom, you get a copy merge layer. I'm going to show you that, Eric, since there are many reasons why you might want to do that or not. I'm going to show you a short way to do it. When you did it, it's fine. It's just basically select all, copy, merge, duplicate, do it. It worked, but there's actually one that does that whole thing. But anyway, great job. I love it. I love this sky. I like Rebecca's sky. I think this one works. It's a little bit too sunny, maybe for such a sunset sky, but we can play around with this and give it a little bit more orangey look or whatever, and it might look a little bit more to it, but I think it still matches. The only thing I don't think matches is that I'm not sure that you'd have this shadow left and that one if you have that sky. So you always have to keep an eye on that. But if you eliminate this shadow and eliminate that shadow, maybe with a remove tool, then it might match more if you make everyone look a little bit yellower, right? Because there's not that many shadows left. But nice, good going. Let me share my screen and show you what's that shortcut that I'm talking about. And let me go back to Photoshop and let me go to something that has more layers, because I don't have layers on this one because I don't have it, but here I have 2 layers. Okay, so that's better than nothing. Oh shoot, it's already 7:55. Wow. Okay, I can't believe how quickly this goes. Okay, so here's my one. So I do Command A, which is select all, and I just have this bottom one selected, but this selects all, and this is there's actually one shortcut that does the same thing. I'm going to do one that's 3 shortcuts. Command A to select all first. Then I do Shift Command C. So instead of, you know how Command C is copy? If I do a copy right now, I'm only going to copy the background. Watch, I'm going to paste and I only got the background. See that? That's a paste. But if I go Shift Command C instead of just Command C, then when I paste, I have the resulting layer is a copy of both of those. See that? So anyway, let me just show you that again. When you want to copy everything that's underneath, it's a, instead of who knows the shortcut Command C or Control C? Y'all know that one for copying, right? Okay, add the shift to that. But first you need to have selected all, right? Because then you're telling it what to copy. Then you go Command C, but you have Command Shift, and then you say C. So you're copying everything that's visible on that you are seeing. Okay, so that's a copy of everything visible. So now if you say paste again, and I'm going to select this so the paste goes on top, Command V or Shift V, then that is a copied layer. You see that? If I were to create a new file right now, and I'm doing that really quickly and saying create and paste, I'm bringing a flat version because that's what I copied. So it's just a shortcut that I want to make sure that somebody who wants to learn it, because Eric is he's asking those questions, I'm teaching it. But there's even a better one, which is if you go up here, and I'm going to select the background again. And I think it's, where does the copy show? Select all, and here, copy merged. That's called copy merged. Okay, Shift Command C. And I do that. Then that's it. When you paste, you have your merged copy. Okay? Does that work, you guys?
What
Without
was
having
that
to
under?
merge it. Without having to. It's like one less step. Mike, did you say something? Did you
Yeah,
ask
what was that under? Because we
under
couldn't see
edit
your
where you
top
do
screen.
edit copy? Right underneath it's copy merge. But you have to have everything selected. If you don't have anything selected, it doesn't show up.
I see.
No, we can't
It's
see
not
it on
there.
your screen.
Right?
And we can't see it on your screen.
Oh, let me select my entire window then. Hold on. And I'm sorry, class is over. Here you go. You go to hi. So you go to edit, and copy merged is gray right under copy. And why is that? Because I have nothing selected. So I need to select all, which it's a shortcut Command A, or go to select all, Command A, or once you've selected all, then you go to copy merge, which is basically Shift Command C or Shift Control C. Anything that's underneath. So you guys who have all these clouds, all these rooftops, whatever, then when you go and paste something, and I'm going to paste it into a new thing, it's everything that's underneath. So everything that's visible is basically what it does. Does that make sense? It's a copy merged, which is an easier way to do exactly what Eric did. So again, you have 25 ways of doing this, and I'm late finishing. Sorry, Sarah. Guys, not only am I late finishing, but on top of that, awesome tech support came to help me. So I'm going to just close this up, okay? I know some of you've left, but it's time to bring it to a close. All right,
Thank
save
you.
this, put it in the Padlet. All right. If you have any questions, you need to hang in for a minute. Of course, I'll stay for a little bit longer, but other than that, post this in the Padlet. And what do I always say about homework? From Monday to Wednesday, not much time. From Wednesday to Monday, a lot of time. So I want to see a lot of stuff in the Padlet. Okay, guys? So
We'll
did
work
anyone
on
post
it.
any of this in the Padlet yet? Nope. All right. Post.
Thank you.
All right. Bye,
Night.
guys. Thank you, those of you who hung out till the end. Take care to the bitter end. Bye, guys. Have fun.
Bye.
There's always the people who just stay with me. All right.
Oh, then